How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Emnix Plays Path of Exile Archnemesis League. I've been slowly trucking along in this character. It is currently level 88. Last episode, we ended up fighting some of the new bosses, and you know, it kind of made me realize that our character, while it's doing okay in maps, it did okay against the bosses as well, but this character was supposed to be touted as like a really tanky character, and there were certain aspects of it that were just maybe missing a little bit of that tankiness. Like, I was dying to random things. Part of it was because I didn't understand the boss mechanics, but part of it is like our damage mitigation could be so much better, and that's something that I realized basically after yesterday's episode. So I did a couple experiments and mapping. I just sort of sat there, and I didn't really show this, I didn't record this, because a lot of the time was just me sitting there thinking and going on PoE Ninja, looking at other builds and trying to figure out why people used what items and so on and so forth. So I did a little bit of research, and I gleaned quite a bit out of it. I don't know if I am able to necessarily replicate all the things people are doing online, just A, due to the fact that I don't necessarily understand all the mechanics. B, I might not have the currency to do what people are doing. And C, I'm a little lazy. I'm a little lazy, and some of it requires putting in work that I'm not necessarily into, right? So first thing I did, I made a couple changes to my defenses. And I think one of the biggest changes I made was to my flasks. So what I did here was, specifically these two last flasks. The third one I haven't gotten around to changing as much, but my 3 utility flasks, I've put an enchantment simply through the crafting bench over here that allows me to set them so that they're used when the charges reach full. It basically means when it's on full charges, these flasks will be used. That's simple enough. But what I then did was I added these prefix enchantments, and they're really low tier right now, so that's something I need to look into as well. But basically, it's a chance to gain flash excuse me, chance to gain flash charges when you deal a critical strike. You know what? I need to get some water. My throat is actually dying. All right. Sorry, I'm back. I should have drank some water before hitting the record button, but this was like definitely a spur of the moment thing after I figured out my character. But yeah, the 3 flasks have it's used when charges reach full, and we also gain charges when we deal a critical strike. So as we fight things and as we hit things with Spectral Helix, we crit a lot, and naturally we end up granting charges, and this basically gives us a little bit more uptime with our flasks without me having to press the flask all the time. And it actually helps because often I do forget to use my flasks. 10% chance to suppress spell damage, 1500 armor, immunity to poison during flask effect, evasion rating. Like, these are all really strong flask effects that I should be using more often. And in conjunction to that, what I've also done is I purchased a Watcher's Eye. And the big node here is, or the specific stat that I'm looking for was gain a flash charge when you deal a critical strike. So over here, it's chance to gain flash charge when you deal a critical strike, 17% chance. This one's just whenever you deal a crit, you get a flash charge. So that node actually helps us a lot. The more we hit, especially against bigger packs, we end up basically being able to sustain our flash charges a lot. A lot of builds that aren't like full evasion or like, we're using elusive, which gives us a lot of avoidance, right? It gives us a lot of avoidance effect and so on, or increased elusive effect. Nightblade gives us elusive effect. Like, we're using elusive a lot, so we're avoiding a lot of damage. A lot of builds that have like high evasion or low evasion tend to use the flagellant mod, which is basically gain like 6 or 7 charges whenever you're hit. Now, I haven't tested this too much, but my assumption is we don't get hit that much because we're playing an evasion build with, elusive. So if that's the case, I figured, since we're critting a lot more, that might be the better way to go. So currently we're at 95% chance to suppress spell damage. With our flask, we're overcapped. We're at 100%. So that helped a lot for defenses, is what I noticed. Now my damage is suffering a little bit, but I was just purely looking at defenses because I was dying randomly in red maps. Other things I was looking at is like we had Malevolence on Blessing. I also put Purity of Elements on Blessing as well, so it's on a 4-link. So we have Divine Blessing, Life Tap, Purity of Elements in addition of Malevolence. And the reason for that is I want to be able to sort of switch between the two auras. Malevolence gives me quite a bit of damage. 19% increased skill effect duration, 20% more damage over time. That's huge. That's a lot. That's a support gem. And then Purity of Elements, it gives us elemental resistance, which is fine, but you become immune to elemental ailments, which is pretty big, Immunity to chill, immunity to burning, which I don't have anything for flasks, immunity to shock. So if I find myself in situations where there's a lot of elemental immunity around me, and you find that a lot with Archnemesis mods, Evocationist, Empowered Elements, so on and so forth, you can at least use that to stave off some of the
just need a moment
elemental ailments, specifically burning. I find myself dying to burning a lot, so that's basically what I've done so far. Otherwise, have I done anything with my items? I got a new chest. Originally, I bought a hunter's chest, and I was planning on rolling attacks of increased base crit on this chest. That's hunter's influence, right? And I think I hit this thing with like I don't even think I used essences. I think it was chaos spamming. I didn't even go that far. And then I rolled onto this. 23% chance to suppress spell damage, 113 life. And then like a crazy amount of resistance. And I benchcraft percentage life onto this thing. And I'm like, wow, this chest is insane. And it's so much better than my old one. I would like to think so. I'm not sure. Max cold resistance is pretty huge, but this one just had life. And that's about it, all right? Whereas my new chest has even more evasion. I lose out Malevolence has 20% increased aura effect and 1% cold resistance. Honestly, this chest, it might as well not have Hunter influence. I would like this chest so much more if it didn't have Hunter influence, right? Like if I could get the same thing on a normal chest and then I just slap on maximum resistance, Malevolence, aura effect, like I'd be very happy. And I think later on in the game, for the most part, I'm gonna try to do non-influenced. Same thing with the boots. The boots I just randomly bought trying to get Tailwind. I was like, you know what? Tailwind would be cool for our character. It would help a lot. And I just kind of chaos rolled it a few times and I got this. And it's like poison, inflict damage faster, movement speed, life, resistances. I'm like, you know what? This will do for now. And then later on, we'll have to think about swapping out of these things because I think this is the league where you go uninfluenced for the most part, unless... Except for the helmet. This helmet, I think you need the minus chaos resistance to nearby monsters mod. Which is ironic, right? I can't get affixes on anything else because this one's influenced, this one's influenced, this one's a unique. This one's uninfluenced. And I slapped on the Eater of Worlds and Exarch Implicit mods. But I want the opposite. I need this one influence and these three to be empty. So, there is some movement we need to do in terms of our gear. But otherwise, we're looking okay. So let's start with the T16 map because it's the only one where I haven't actually completed a bonus yet. Oh, and also I slapped on a cluster jewel. I don't know why. Martial prowess, feat the fury. I didn't really have a plan. I figured I might as well because I was rolling an 8 passive cluster jewel and it hit this and I'm like, you know what, let's just switch over to it, and in the future if I find a better cluster jewel we can just swap it. In return I dropped some more damage. Like my damage is not as good, but we're just kind of tankier, and I put on spell suppression. So that's basically our character now, just a good amount of suppression, a good amount of defense. Damage is still okay. It could definitely be better. Cannot leech. That sucks. Vulnerability is actually perfect for us because we're unaffected by vulnerability. So we're gonna vol this. All right, that's good. And then run it as ambush, I guess. And where are we in terms of Exarch and Eater of Worlds? So Exarch needs tier 15 plus, so we might as well do the Exarch one. Even though I'm more, I think I built my tree towards Eater of Worlds. And then let's slap on some of this. What's kind of nice is you get these pieces in like, they stack to size of 10. So you can actually keep 10 of these in here whenever you're running red maps. If you have no intention of doing scarabs, that is. And then you just get 15% quantity and you don't need to bother like picking up more fragments every time. This is actually a cool change. I don't know when they implemented this change, but I like it. So I don't think I can do Temple of Azorel. I don't think I can do an Alva on tier 16. I don't know if I have the damage for it. So let's just do Beasts for now. Same thing with June. We can try it. But I get the feeling I might not have the damage to do a transportation quest, for example. Because there was one time where I just got stuck doing it. And I was just not doing enough damage. And that sucked a lot. Alright. Okay, so this should be a pretty straightforward map. And again, you know, in terms of how we're going to play the character, nothing has changed. We pop Malevolence, which is a Blessing Aura. It lasts for like, what, 13 seconds. Our damage is still good enough to clear packs. We're relying a lot more on the poison, whereas I noticed that before. We were playing a poison build, but I was surprisingly relying on the on-hit damage. As in, I would hit them and I would wait for them to die, and I would keep spamming my skills until they have actually all died. In reality, when you play a damage over time build, you know, not all of your damage is up front. In the sense that, like this guy, I hit him once. Normally, I would chase him down and try and get him killed, but he's gonna die to poison pretty quick. So the moment you can get them to like half life, really you could just leave, unless it's a rare mob. Normally you can just leave the pack and they'll naturally die to poison. It's good and bad. Good, you get more clear speed. You get to run faster. You know, you don't need to sit here waiting for the pack to die before you leave. In reality, you could just sort of, you know, like these guys are dead. You know, you get them to half HP, you move on. You get them to half HP, you move on. Downside, and this is a big downside for me, is sometimes I move so fast, like trying to be faster, right? I'd be like, okay, half HP, let's go, go, go. That sometimes they drop loot behind me and I'll hear it and I'll have to backtrack anyways, which is not necessarily a good thing, right? So an example would be like that, like it's dead, but I'm already halfway across like this screen.
In this vast, callous machine,
Riker to fortification. I think I like Riker where he is. Yeah, I like you here. So I will just do that. So that's the only downside. In terms of Archnemesis, some exciting stuff, I think. I ended up getting... Well, actually, this would be the place to run it. Right? So I got the trifecta, the quadfecta, the 4 big ones. I got Innocence Touched, Tree and Horde, Brian King Touched, Tukohama. It took us like a week. I'm pretty sure it took a week, but I'm ready. So basically, this is supposed to give us a whole bunch of currency. So let's give this a try. I hope we can run it. If not, I don't have anyone to help me today. Nobody is online. Nobody can help. So let's not die to this. Okay, so Innocence Touched. Everything is currency. Ow. Okay, that is a good amount of currency. But apparently it gets wacky from here on out. So let's see. I'm excited to try this because I've been building up to this like all week. Innocence Touched, Tree and Horde, Brian King Touched, and then Tukohama. Like that's the forbidden combo supposedly. And like now that we're tankier, I'm glad I made my character tankier, even if I have less damage, because what that necessarily means is that I can do Archnemesis. In the past, there were times where I would create an Archnemesis boss that would just be too hard for me to actually kill. Hopefully, and like I don't want to lose all 6 portals on an Archnemesis mob that I built like for an entire week, right? Drops 1 additional item with a Searing Exarch implicit. They gain, the map boss gain stuff, or I gain increased flash charges used, increased quantity. I'll just take that. Even if it's more flash charges, I think it's fine. Especially since I gain a lot of flash charges from doing crits, right? Like, in theory, I should be okay. One thing that I need to drop, that I haven't gotten around to, and again, purely out of laziness, is my mana flask. The only thing my mana flask is used for right now is for chill and freezing, like, avoidance. Basically, if I get frozen, that's my mana flask. But really, I could swap it with some kind of utility flask that has anti-freeze, and it would work just the same. In fact, it would work a lot better. Preferably something like a basalt flask with physical damage reduction. I think that would be good. Or alternatively, which one's the one that drops a blinding cloud that gives me like more evasion? I could go for that one as well. If that still exists, I actually don't know. Oh my god. Okay, so this is one of the problems. I don't have enough damage to do June. So, like, this was something that was warned, or when I was watching videos, like, people have warned me. You know, like, this character is safe, it is tanky, it's like supposedly hardcore suitable. Now, either way, I wasn't gonna play hardcore, so I guess it didn't necessarily apply to me, but I hate dying, which is why I built my character the way I built. And like, I am leaning more towards the survivability aspect, which basically lets me like complete most of the content in the game, right? Like, I can fight the bosses, I can do like tier red maps, basically. I can do everything I want. At the same time, there are certain aspects, especially the ones that are timer based, where it's like, I'm not as good at it. Not to say I cannot do it, because I don't believe that to be true. I think we can do a lot of the content in the game. It's just that this character, for now, at least the way I've built it, it has the defenses now, it doesn't have the damage. Which is still better than what it was before, which was, it has no defenses, it has no damage, and like, as a result of not having any defense, we can't dish out the damage because we die before we can like apply enough poison. Now it's like, as long as it's not timer based, if they sit there long enough and I can apply the poison, eventually they'll die. And I'm pretty happy with that. So currently, like, even though we failed that June quest, I'm not that miffed. I'm not that upset. It's okay. Oh! Okay. I mean, this was what I was kind of hoping for. Very pog, by the way. We got an exalted orb. I need this currency, by the way. Like, I'm not even joking. We kind of do need the money because, you know, we need to look for ways to improve our character. And at this point, I don't care anymore whether it's buying it on. The thing is with the trade house is I would need to have a very specific idea of what I want on the trade house in order to buy it. Like, sometimes I would get this currency and I wouldn't know what to do with it.
Just need a moment to catch my...
But I think right now our goal is probably a 6-link. Like, I was just talking about it not even that long ago, like 3 minutes ago. We kind of need more damage. Our defenses are looking pretty good, right? Like, it's actually looking pretty good. I don't feel like I'm dying a lot. Damage over time is still a problem, by the way. Damage over time is still quite a big problem. But other than that, you know, it's looking pretty good. Oh man, 10 currency drops. Okay, this is starting to get a little wacky. Where's the boss? I don't even know where he is anymore. Whoa. Okay. Sitting under the burning is probably not the greatest idea. Alright, either way, we got an exalt. So that was the first death. I definitely still died to a lot of stuff, but you guys have no idea. It was looking bad before, you know?
Salah.
This is so much better than what it was like before. I'm actually like quite comfortable. Like dying to that thing, like a giant Archnemesis, it's not that surprising, you know? Like, it's not to say it's expected, but it is like a big boss. The first 3 Archnemesis, they were fine, right? So I'm not too upset. Okay, this ring is quite interesting because it has life and it has like a stupid amount of resistance. So the question I have is, can I drop a ring? I would have to drop this ring because I can't drop this. I would lose the strength and I need strength right now. Can I craft strength anywhere? No, nothing has an open suffix. So it has to be this. And what happens to my resistances? Wow. Okay. Well, jeez, I wish I could do this. Where would I get strength? How much am I missing? 33. Why? Ancestral Protector? Determination. Determination needs 151 strength. Yeah, that's 33, alright. Okay. We'll need to think about it. Figure out how to do this. I'm missing some stats right now. I could try and allocate it through my... You could try and allocate it through here. Through like an anointment. You pick up like... Utmost Might. And honestly, I'm not really using my anointments properly right now. Because I think I'm supposed to get corruption. I haven't gotten around to that. So maybe that's what I do right now. Okay, hold on. I know there's an innocence boss right there. I know. But I got distracted. We picked up an interesting item. I don't actually have the oils for it. Okay, we'll just come back to this then. I'll put this here. Let's dump all this stuff. I'm sorry. I got really distracted. Okay, let's go fight that boss. Let's get him killed. You know, potentially he's gonna drop a lot of cool stuff. Potentially, fingers crossed. We already got an Exalt. I can't ask for more. To be quite honest, yeah, I really can't. If you give me more, I'll take it. But I'm already happy with 1 Exalt. It did take me a long time to farm that thing, and like, here's a crazy thing, right? Like I was just thinking, like, we got an Exalt, like I'm happy. It took us a week, but we got an Exalt. Worth it. And then sometimes I go on Reddit, and Reddit is like just so good at making you feel bad if it really wants you to, because people talk about like, oh yeah, like here's my build, super strong, you know, like aura stacker levels of budget. And to be fair, people were like, you know, this isn't a budget that we can manage. And some people are like, yeah, like this isn't supposed to be a budget build, you know. The budget version costs this much, but even the budget version, quote unquote, is 150x or whatever. I think I saw a thread like that. And then the immediate okay. Okay. I'm not just happy, I'm ecstatic. I mean, to finish my story, the immediate answer was like, you guys, like, if you farm efficiently, you can farm like 4 Exalts an hour, you know. It doesn't take that much, it's super easy. I don't understand people who aren't able to do at least 1 Exalt an hour, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, like, I'm one of those people, you know. Like, it's kind of hard for me to get any currency, but we just got 2 Exalt, and I'm like, I'm thrilled. I'm shaking, man. Dude, this is great. We have money to use for whatever. It doesn't matter what. I'm assuming it's gonna be a 6-link. I think the plan is we could buy a 6-link. Maybe we don't care how it's rolled. As long as we have a 6-link, it's something we can play around with. maybe we like create our own body armor, we roll it in some shape or form. Because I think at the end of the day, the rolls don't matter as well, not to say the rolls don't matter. The 6 link costs a lot. And the 6 link probably costs more than the item. And we don't need an influence item, right? So as long as we just have like a normal evasion chest with a little bit of suppression, some life, some resistance, I think we'll be pretty happy. And what's more important are these like new implicits. Your Eater of World and Searing Exarch implicits. I think that's what's going to be more important for our character at least. So that's probably the way we're going to build it. The implicits are just so strong. You can kind of tell our damage is like, we're not dying, but it just takes a while to kill these guys, you know? So like Tora might escape. Oh! Okay. And also, you know, all of our weaknesses, they're kind of showing. All the flaws to this character, it's showing in like one single moment, which is the damage isn't great right now, and also we suck against damage over time, specifically chaos damage over time. So those are the two things that, you know, sort of still affect us in terms of defenses, as well as like big hits. But we're actually okay against big hits because we have suppression, we have evasion, so there's a chance that we just avoid the big hit altogether. And then we also have endurance charges from a small cluster jewel that I picked up over here, which is a 2 passive cluster jewel for increased armor. And what's good about this is you can get enduring composure, which is gained 1 endurance charge every second if you've been hit recently. So if you get hit for the next 4 seconds, you'll be gaining endurance charges. And those endurance charges last like 10 seconds, right? And then I'm assuming in those 10 seconds, you'll get hit again. So like basically it means if you can just keep running around and fighting things in a map, excuse me, chances are you're gonna have 3 endurance charges the whole time. So in that sense, you know, like our defenses are pretty good in terms of like big hits as well. Guff. Do I want to remove Guff? Honestly, I don't respect Guff. I know some people like the RNG crafting aspects of Guff, but the time restraints, as well as just like you have 30 seconds, go just craft whatever. Like it stresses me out, man. Like I can't do it. I need to think about my crafts. I need to take my time. Okay, I know like there's already a clear speed meta in the game. I do not want there to be a clear speed meta with regards to crafting. F that. Like no, thank you. Okay, I mean overall, I would call this a success. This map so far, our June stuff is not doing great. So like I put a lot of points into master missions, Alvas. Well, really only Alvas. But Alva specifically, right? And now that we're in red maps, like high tier red maps, it kind of feels like I won't be able to do those as well because Alvas, they're timed missions, basically. June, they're also kind of timed missions because for research, you know, you need to kill them before the time runs out, before they destroy all the other things. Same thing with transportation. Fortification is fine, as you just need to kill them, but unfortunately we died there. But June overall is still time because if you kill someone, there's a chance that the friends run away, right? So like even that is sort of timed. So it's like if I don't have the damage at this point in time, those points I put into the Atlas passive tree, they're not as useful. So I definitely need to look into probably getting a little bit more damage, right? The 6 link will help. You know what else will help? Our 4th ascendancy. I haven't done my Uber lab yet because I'm still missing Labyrinth trials. I should be focusing on that actually. Hello? Why don't you go in? Is this thing already possessed? This thing is just giving off ghosts. What's going on? Ow, ow, I'm bleeding. I don't have flash charges. You need to sit still. Oh, thank God. Okay, I need to remember, I don't have life flasks. So I basically just need to sit here and tank him. Okay, I have one charge. I need to save it in case I start bleeding. It's looking pretty good. Our leech is sort of carrying us. There's burning ground. Let's avoid that. Okay. Okay, I'm bleeding, so sit still, sit still. You just sit tight, you're good, you're good, you're good. The burning ground's annoying, so let's... Like, degens kind of screw me. Because I don't have that much regeneration, aside from leech. If I'm not hitting, I'm basically not getting HP back, so... Just have to be a little careful here. Gotta tuck ourselves into the corner and look at that damage. Okay, okay, we're good. And we unlocked a favorite map slot. Ooh. Okay, one thing at a time. Where was I working on my map, my atlas tree? So I got Shadow of Hunger, which gives us 50% increased chance of Eater of Worlds altars in areas. And then I've gotten these two strongbox nodes. So strongboxes in areas contain duplicated divination cards, duplicated currency items, and they have increased chance to be diviners as well as Arcanist strongboxes. I'm probably not going to do the map one. Probably. I got the expedition one. I kind of like that. I actually don't know where to go next. Legitimately, I don't have a plan. Jeez. There's Maven stuff. There's Ritual. I didn't think this far. Shaper and Elder. Shrines? Honestly, let's do more expedition. Let's go over here. But the stuff up here is so strong. Defeating a map boss while witnessed by the Maven has 10% chance to count as also witnessing an additional random map boss. Orbs of Conflict to be duplicated. Areas with ritual altars always have 4 ritual altars. Ritual could be interesting. Conquerors have 25% increased chance to drop a Conqueror's Exalt. Increased quantity of items found in Conqueror maps. Betrayal. Completing gives you intelligence. I actually don't know what I want to do. Honestly, I want to do more expeditions. Those have been pretty profitable for me. And like, alphas are not... But what about fun ones? You know what's a fun one? Like Ruckus. 8% chance to have 20% additional rogue exiles. You know what? Screw it. Let's do that. Let's go for that. And then what's my favorite map so far? Well, I would assume it would have to be a red map of some sort. Port, Haunted Mansion. Strand? Let's go with Strand. That's like a pretty easy going map. And there we go. This map's completed. It took a while. But we've built like a giant Archnemesis. That was cool. We got a lot of money. Would I do it again? I don't know. That was very expensive. Innocence Touched is like a super expensive one. Because you need Lunaris Touched and Solaris Touched. And these two are like super annoying to get. You need like a whole bunch of Executioners, which means a whole bunch of Frenzied. And I just don't get enough of those. So maybe we go back to something like Shikari Touched Treant, like I have a lot of these. Treant Horde. Brine King? Do I have a Brine King? I don't have a Brine King. Do I have a Tukohama? I don't have a Tukohama. So I can make a Tukohama next map. I already have that. Right? And we don't need as many executioners. I think that's the plan.
Just need a moment to catch my breath.
Alright, let's go with that. And that was a good map. We ended up getting 2 exalts. We got our favorite map. We completed another map, you know. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that one. Alright, so what is the next step? Well, we still need to do more maps, for sure. And honestly, like, I hope this isn't a surprise to anybody, okay? Like, the next while, I'm talking the next week or so, it's going to be exclusively maps, because I've only completed 72 bonuses out of 117. There's so many more to go, and what's worse, better? I don't know, but what's, like, in addition to that, not only have I only completed that many maps, by the way, we can try rolling this thing later on. I'll put this into my crafting queue. Maybe if we get some, like, interesting harvest crafts, we could roll this. Not only that, but the next bonuses that I need to complete are all up here, which means they're all red maps. And if you look at my map pool, I don't have that many red maps. Like, I really don't. So I think most of the stuff we're going to be doing is, like, we got to buy maps. You know, we got to do all kinds of stuff to just get more bonuses done.
Stay
So this one, for example, crit strike, crit multi, less recovery, less cooldown. Like, that kind of sucks, but let's just run it as it is. I mean, the quantity is okay. Vol okay. And then map modifiers to quantity is also applied to rarity. So that's why we have so much rarity on this map. Alright, this is probably the last map for this episode. It's kind of crazy how we're doing like 2 maps per episode. Oh, we also had that that ring that we found, right? Honestly, I could use a different helmet. If I find like any sort of evasion base, this thing's item level 50, man. Yeah, I could use a new helmet. But I need an influence one. Jesus. I could use a new belt. I need more strength. How do I get more strength? There isn't a good way, unfortunately. Okay, I'm gonna need to sit on this and wait. Man, this would be a good ring. Okay, well,
Just need a moment to
it doesn't necessarily benefit me right now because I'm already capped on resistances. So, okay, we'll run ambush. We'll run it with Maven. And yeah, June and Alva, it's not gonna work. So I guess we'll just run Bestiary for now. Well, this is a lower tier map. Maybe I could do it because the last one we did was tier 16. This one is, well, not tier 16. It's a lot lower. Maybe I could have done it. Alright, so in this map, we're making a Tukohama touched. Well, let me clear this area first. It's kind of hard to stand around and try and do stuff when there's all this stuff hitting you. By the way, the Twitch Rivals Battle Royale has been announced again. So they postponed it from last time. They re-announced it. It's gonna be on March 8th. I'm still invited. Fingers crossed. You know, as far as I'm aware of, I'm still allowed to go. They haven't caught on to the fact that we're a small-time streamer. Okay. So there's gonna be some practice sessions later on this week that I maybe I'll play and sort of make a video on. I probably do want to play just to get some practice in. And then the real thing will be in give or take 2 weeks. So we're gonna have to see. I'm excited for it still. I'm kind of disappointed that last time it didn't get to go as planned, but yeah, I'm excited to play it. Thought I'd put it out there. I'll make another announcement in the future once we get closer to the date. I don't know if anything's changing in terms of the formatting. I think it's still going to be the same. Okay, so Tukohama touched. So that is Magma Barrier, Bone Breaker, Executioner. Okay, so Magma Barrier is the most annoying one, from what I remember. I hated that one. Ow, I hate this too, what the heck? Okay. Alright, let's clear this map. I mean, this map shouldn't be as hard as the last one. In theory. I mean, this one doesn't have like all the Exarch stuff and the altars. It made me gain less flash charges. There was like burning ground everywhere. This one isn't as crazy. This one really is supposed to be a smooth experience. There's a couple things that I like need immediately, okay? One is like I would love to, and this is I would love, not need. I would love to make more like big Archnemesis if I can. But also I need my last lab trial. Like that's a need. I need my last lab trial so I can do my Uber lab. And originally I was gonna get Mistwalker for basically more defenses, right? It makes your elusive effect stronger. And what does elusive give? Like damage avoidance? What was it? Where's Nightblade? Elusive grants 15% chance to avoid all damage, 30% increased movement speed. Yeah. But I'm thinking maybe we need to get the damage. More crit chance, more crit multi. That might be the play. Okay, yeah, so this damage over time sucks. Okay. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? We're just gonna tank it. Nice. Like I said, you know, this was supposed to be an easy map, and it really was. So we're going towards Rogue Exiles, I guess. I have no idea how that's gonna go. I think one thing we can consider is making them all possessed. Is there a mod that did that? Was it here? Have a 100% chance to be possessed by a tormented spirit. So if you get these two, you get like a 20 possessed Rogue Exiles running around. That could be fun. I don't know if that's actually good for drops. But, you know, not all of your nodes on your tree necessarily need to be there, you know, purely for profit. So I'm going to spend a couple nodes until I figure out what I want to do. We're going to put a couple in for fun. And hopefully we'll get a map where there's just like 20 crazy-ass Rogue Exiles just running around. Hopefully not destroying us. But if they're all possessed, I would imagine in time, you know, they would drop something good, hopefully. Alright, so Magma Barrier has always been a problem for me. I don't know why. Like, those explosions just deal a lot of damage to me. So I need to watch out for it. Okay, luckily that was perfectly fine. I'm starting to have like a good grasp of what Archnemesis mods like really screw my character. And a lot of them seem to be elemental based. Like Magma Barrier, I always find that it screws me. Like these explosions! I was just saying. I was reading the stat up there, I wasn't looking at the screen. And then by the time I realized, I was freaking dead. That was my fault, by the way. I knew what I was supposed to look out for, and I just had a momentary lapse of judgment. And that's what happens. That's what happens, man. So one thing I will say about this character is, although it's tanky in the sense that it gives you a lot of time to react if you're like about to die. You know, you have all this avoidance. You're surrounded. You're like, okay, I need to get like away from being surrounded. And you have enough time to do that. If there's like a lot of, like, if there's like a big pack of mobs, typically you're fine. But because of all this evasion, all this elusiveness, all this chance to avoid damage, normally, okay, and I say normally because it's not always the case, which is, I suppose, one of the problems with playing an evasion character in the first place. Normally, you have enough time to get away from the damage that's like about to like kill you, right? And then, so like that's one of the benefits of this character. The downside is, it's not tanky in the sense that you can just AFK stand there and you'll be okay. The point is, the moment you get hit, you get away, you come back, and you keep fighting. You know? It's like you jump in, you hit him a couple times, you jump back out, you just never get hit. This is an evasion build for you. Whereas like a truly tanky build, in the sense that you can just face tank, is you just sit there, you don't ever move. And I don't mind playing either styles. Overall, I don't necessarily care, actually. I just want to play a build that is tanky enough where I don't have to use all 6 portals just to do a map, right? Which is often what happens when I play later into red maps, typically. You know, your maps just get harder, naturally. You roll it for, like, more quantity, more rarity. You know, you get cursed more, lower resistances, everything hits harder. There's a whole bunch of damage mods on your map. The bosses are harder. That's a natural thing when you play Path of Exile, especially later on into the game. It just gets harder. That's literally how all games work. But I don't like dying. I just don't. Which is why typically I favor playing tankier characters. And to be honest, I don't really care what kind of tanky it is. You know, it could be this kind of tanky, it could be face tanky. Both are good. But I just needed to point out, you know, this is tanky. But like, if you're playing this build and you're like, yeah, what do you mean it's tanky? Like, I tried to sit there, I got slammed in the face, and I still died anyways. It's not that kind of tanky. You might be able to take a slam, and then like you dodge it. You took like a whole bunch of slams and you just never realized it, and you dodged them all. You know, that could happen. What's this for? Brine King. What do I use for last one? Rejuvenating. Mana Siphoner. Let's just use a Storm Strider. I don't even know, man. Oh. But this is very much a build where it's like, I'll take damage and I can get away from it so I can come back and fight some more. It's almost like playing like a tanky ES build, right? Where you have so much ES that you're a tank, but then if you sit there and don't let your energy shield regenerate, you're still gonna die. It's kind of like that. It's still fine though. Like, if you're still looking for a tanky character, if you build it properly, I do believe that this character is like, it's quite strong in that sense. And it makes leveling, like getting into maps, like it makes for a very good league starter. Like, so far, I haven't invested that much. I probably put in like well, the gloves were 2.5 exalts, but that was the most expensive purchase. Everything else was less than exalt. You know, each piece of gear, the claw, the wasp's net, it's like chaos. If you get like a perfectly rolled one, like 5 chaos maybe, like, it's just, it doesn't cost much to play. And like, for something that's minimal investment that gets you like pretty far into maps, I guess that's what like a definition of a league starter is, right? Okay, well, that was the end of that map. We completed 2 bonuses this episode. We did the Innocence Touched, what was it? Innocence Touched, Tukohama, whatever combo. We didn't do the ultimate combo, which is after Innocence Touch, you also do Kitava Touch so you get double rewards. Honestly, I should have tried that. I should have tried that, and maybe I will. but that one's expensive. That one is super expensive. So we're gonna have to see. That's at the end of this episode, though. By the way, I don't think Katava Touch is worth it. I really don't think so. Even if it's double rewards, I don't think it's worth it. Just because it costs so much and so much time to do. Thank you guys very much for watching this episode. If you did, as always, you can leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more updates in the future. Otherwise, keep in touch, guys. And I will see you guys later. Bye now. Bye-bye.